So just got done seeing The Substance, and boy, there's some positive things I can say about it, but there's a lot of negative things I can say about it as well. I'll say this: it would have worked better if it was like it felt like a segment of a Creepshow movie, directed by David Cronenberg, and it should have been something like that. It should have been 30 minutes long, 45 minutes long at the most, and being over, I think it's well over 2 hours. So, like, I've never seen a movie that so much could have been cut out of. There's so many things that I can be negative towards it. I mean, I could just list off thing after thing after thing. There was a ton of questions that kept on popping up throughout, and I almost would not have minded if they went unanswered, if there was a satisfying conclusion. But the further it went along, the more I was realizing there cannot be a satisfying conclusion, because there's nothing. It's such the world that it's set in is such an empty world. Who cares about explaining anything? And obviously the movie never wanted to explain anything, but I felt that it could have at least led to something. It led to something more than just what it was about. And yeah, what it was about is such a simple thing, but I mean, you really wanted there to be way more to the story. Something, things happen in it for sure, but you were hoping that things that happened in it would have been different than what came out of it, in more ways than one. Once I realized that there could be no conclusion to the movie, there was like several moments to where I was thinking, boy, the movie could just end here and it wouldn't make a difference. And this kept on happening. There was no really truly ending until the end of it, I guess. But there were several moments where I was thinking, yeah, they could just stop, cut to black, and say the end, and it would not have mattered. And yeah, by the end of it, when it finally does end, it doesn't really matter. Nothing is resolved. The resolution of the movie happens halfway into it. So yeah, it's easily something it gets really weird. It gets gross and bloody. But even for fans of the genre, I don't know if I could recommend this to, because when you take the body horror aspect out of it, there's nothing to grasp onto. Sure, the body horror aspects can be gross and interesting up until a point, but I don't know. When you have something that's so empty as this, that is so stretched out, and with characters that you do not care about. I've said before, I don't have to necessarily like characters to like a movie, but I do have to have some interest in what the characters are doing, or what's literally happening. And not one of the characters are interesting. I mean, you got some attractive characters for sure, but I'm anxious to see how many people will like this or even praise it. There's got to be outliers out there, of course, but no matter how much I wanted to like it, no matter how much I wanted to be able to say, yeah, that was a blast of a time watching all this stuff happen, Yeah. It was flat. It was the most interesting thing that I've seen all year long. You know, possibly, who knows how long, but yeah, I watch the trailer if you think you might want to spend over 2 hours in a movie watching what you see in the trailer, and knowing that you can expect some really weird stuff to happen. You can maybe give it a chance. Maybe, I don't know why though. Sometimes I'll finish this off by saying sometimes you see a movie and you're like, okay, obviously the movie's trying to really tell you something, and it wants you to focus on, the weird things that's happening in the movie, and it doesn't care about explaining things because it just wants to tell you the deeper meaning of what it's trying to say. I got that. I don't think I missed anything that there was no. I mean, there wasn't like there was clues that led to something that I missed out on. It felt like, okay, 40 minutes in, I totally get what's going on. Then the next hour and a half is just like, the further this gets along, the more uninteresting and the more I know I'm going to dislike it. It needs to have a masterful third act. It needs to come from out of nowhere and just majorly surprise me. And the third act is probably where it got even worse. Yeah, it's one of those movies that the more it goes on, the less it comes up with. It's like someone playing poker and continually pushing more chips in each hand, more and more chips, and just leaving bankrupt. I don't know. I cannot recommend it. There's some nice visuals, some nice sounds, but that doesn't get me. That does not get me very far, other than barely being able to sit in the movie theater and watching it, just waiting to see if something is going to happen to blow my mind. The only mind that was blown in this one was the lead character, but I'll catch you on the next one.